Hello, friends. Hello and welcome. Welcome to yours and mine Cozy Corner. My name is Amanda, and on this channel, we talk about books, and more books. But hello, friends. Hope all is well. Today, we are here to do the mid-year book tag, and this will be my very first one. Yay! So I'm excited to do it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Thus far this year, I would say I'm not having the best reading year ever. I have some books that, I have enjoyed throughout the year, but, nothing like it was last year where I could just name several different books that I really enjoyed. This year, I could say maybe I have maybe a handful, possibly two, two handfuls, but not very many in comparison to previous years. So I, as I was doing this tag, I was like, I'm not extremely excited about it, but hey, this is a great way to kind of let me see where I'm at. And hopefully by the remaining of this year, things will get a little bit better. So I don't know. But let's start with the first question. The first question, and of course, you guys know I have my notes. The first question is best book you've read so far this year. So the best book that I have read this year is going to be Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. Now, this is a dark romance, and it's actually kind of funny that this is the best book that I've read thus far because I'm not like a romance girly or dark romance girly or romantasy or anything like that. I mean, I've read a few of them, but not many, not so much so where it turns out to be the best book that I've read this year. But I'm going to have to give it to Daggermouth, and I'm going to have to give it to him because I really did enjoy the characters in the book. To me, this book has the best or worst villain ever. Like, he is, oh my goodness, he was just absolutely uh, evil. So he definitely was one of the characters that I enjoyed reading about, even though he was the evilest one. And plus, this is the book that I think that people who enjoy it, I think there's a variety of people that can enjoy this book, regardless of the different genres that um, you may normally enjoy. Like for me, I love horror. Horror is my favorite, and then probably thriller. But I really enjoyed this book, and I think people can um, find something about this book that they can enjoy. But anywho, the next question we have is worst book you've read so far this year. So this book is definitely going to be Black Flame by Gretchen Felker-Martin. And I have to admit, out of all the books that I have read, like throughout the years, by far, this is probably the lowest rated book. Like, I don't think I've ever rated a book as low as I rated this book. And I'm going to just tell you, my main issue with this book is it's just entirely too vulgar for me. Like, it was just too much. And I understand certain books are written for shock value, and I get that. And to me, this book is like when you write for shock value, to me, there's a very thin line. So you have to be careful. And to me, this book crossed that line, then circled back around, came back and crossed the line again. Like it was just too much. So that's all I'm gonna say about that book. But definitely was the worst book that I read this year. And actually, I have to say this part. Originally, I got this or was going to get this book when I went to North Carolina, and it was for my birthday. I saw the cover, love the cover. The cover of this book is absolutely awesome. Was going to buy the book, but then I was a little hesitant about it because it's not a very long book. I can't remember. I don't think it was a novella, but anyway, I was just like, do I want to pay this much? And, I only have these few pages here. in this book and was just kind of hesitating on it. So then I was waiting. I put it on hold with my library, and I'm so glad that I did that, because had I purchased this book, I would have been really upset. Okay, the next one. Best sequel you read so far this year? Well, so far this year, I haven't actually read a sequel yet. So I kind of changed the question, not kind of, I changed the question to the best series that I read thus far. And right now, I'm going to have to say that would be God Don't Like Ugly by Mary Monroe. Guys, I just finished book 5. There are only 6 books, so it makes me a little sad because I really was taking my time with reading this series because I really, really, truly enjoy it. I feel like I've really gotten to know the characters, and I mean, I just don't want it to end. I don't want it to end because I mean, this is one of those books where, or series where you have just messy drama, all kind of hidden secrets, and just it has a little bit of everything. So I really don't want it to end, but like I said, I only have one more book that's left in the series, so I will finish that. But it does make me excited to read more books by Miss Monroe. Next question. A new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. So that's going to be Burn Down Master's House by Clay Kane. So this book actually came out in January, and I do plan to read it. It's just I have that forever growing TBR. So just because a book is a new release, I don't necessarily take that new release and put it above other books. I just do plan to get to it. I just don't know exactly when. Now, the next question. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I had absolutely nothing. I had absolutely nothing for this question. And the truth is because, I'm still trying to, get through books I already have. And I'm trying to get through books that came out in the first half of the year. So in order to answer this question, I had to do just like a quick research of, hey, what's coming out next? And I did see that The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent is supposed to come out August the 4th. Now that's going to be book 5 in the Crowns and uh I don't know how to pronounce it. Nexia, I think is how you pronounce it, that series. And if you look right here, I have that series thus far. I mean, not thus far. I have that series. And so this will be book number 5. I've read, I believe, 3 of them, 3 or 4. I don't remember. I know I have not. I'm not up to date yet, but that works out because I do like to, sometimes read them back to back if I'm on a roll. So that would be good with this one coming out on August the 4th. Now, next question, biggest disappointment of the year so far. So I do have to answer this question with 2 books, and I tried not to. So 2 things I tried not to do. I tried not to answer the question with more than 1 book, and I also tried not to repeat the same book, even though some of these books could have fit in multiple categories here. But the first book that I have to say is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. I love the cover. I love the synopsis of this book. I even enjoyed the book when I was first reading it. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is going good. And then as I'm reading and, I'm getting in, I think I know, what's going on, who's this, who's that. I became lost. I became absolutely confused. It's like the book, we just fell off the cliff. Like we ran and then we jumped off the cliff. Okay. I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know if people were alive in the book, if they were dead, if this was in somebody's head. I was just thoroughly confused. So it really felt like the author wrote part of the book one year and then like 6 years later decided to write the other half of the book and then place it together. It was confusing to me, and I was disappointed because the writing style for the author, like I liked her writing style, it's just, it wasn't making sense to me. It made sense and then it stopped making sense. And then I was just confused, like I said, for the remainder of the book. It just didn't make much sense to me at that point. So that part was disappointing. Now, the second book that disappointed me, and let me tell y'all, do not come for me, okay? Do not, do not come for me. Let me explain before I tell you what book it is, okay? Because I know how some of y'all may get. Okay, this book that I'm about to say, it is a good book. It's a good book. I like it. I purchased the book. I have it on my shelf. I would even recommend this book. It is a good book, okay? But the book was disappointing to me because I had hyped the book up so much, okay? What book am I talking about? I am talking about Judge Stone by the lovely, lovely Miss Viola Davis and James Patterson. I hate to even say that anything disappointed me that deals with Miss Viola Davis because I just love her so much. But I was disappointed because I hyped up this book. I just knew that like this book was just going to be like the best book ever. I knew it was just going to knock my socks off, and I was just ready to be on this emotional roller coaster with it. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. It was a good book. It was nice, but it didn't do what I had created, and that's nobody's fault but mine. All right, moving on. So, question number 7. Biggest surprise of the year so far. I'm going to go with A Speed of Life by J.M. Kelly. Now, this is the very first book that I read for 2026. And guys, it was truly a wonderful read. And it was very surprising to me because, well, due to the fact that I wasn't expecting it to go the direction it went. As you guys know, or some of you may know, I'm not the biggest YA fan, even though I have a ton of YA books, because for some reason when I go to the Goodwill, I end up grabbing YA books and not even knowing that they're YA. But anyway, this book was a YA book. It was slow paced. I didn't relate to the characters. I had nothing in common with them. But none of that mattered. None of that mattered. This book is an excellent read. Definitely recommend this book to you if you haven't heard it, if you haven't read it before. And I do look forward to reading this book again. But it definitely was the biggest surprise because, again, I didn't expect for the book to go the way that it did. And for me not to have anything in common with any of the characters, and the pacing of the book, and the fact that it's a YA, and turned out just to be one of the best reads for me. All right. Question number 8, favorite new author. So I can't say that I have a favorite new author that I've picked up, the first half of this year, because I just haven't. But I can say that I do look forward to reading C.J. Tudor. I think that's how you pronounce it, Tudor. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. I do look forward to reading some of her books. So this year I read The Burning Girls by her, and I really did enjoy that. And since reading that book, I have picked up 2 more books by this author, and that is The Chalk Man and The Hiding Place. So again, I don't have a favorite new author, but I do look forward to reading her books. Now, number 9, newest fictional crush. So I don't do fictional crush. That's not like really a thing for me. And I don't know. I'm guessing that's more of kind of like a romance girly thing where they might have fictional crushes. I don't know. Not something that I do, but I can say that I really did like and enjoy Kenan Ross from Miss Kennedy Ryan Hookshot. That is book number 3 in I think it's the Hoops series is what it's called, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it up here. But I did like him, and I liked him because he was like straight to the point. guy. It was no miscommunication. He knew what he wanted. He stated that. And, that's something I can definitely appreciate in a person, just their honesty and knowing what it is that they want. So, again, I don't do crushes, but I definitely did appreciate him. Number 10. And there is, let me see, there's only 12 questions I have here, guys. Okay, number 10, a book that made me cry or made you cry. None. I have not read a book that has made me cry, guys, and I am so disappointed. I love it when books can just take my emotions and throw it on a roller coaster. I mean, toss me back and forth, whatever it is that you want to do. I am with it when it comes to books, and and that's why this year I just have not been on an emotional roller coaster. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm just not having the best reading year ever. I'm just not. So anyway, answer to that again is no book, not a single one. But hopefully that would change coming up soon. Hopefully. Number 11, book that made you happy. Okay. Again, I feel like I need to explain myself because I feel like somebody out there is going to judge me. Okay. Normally, to answer a question like this, I will say something like Book Lovers by, I believe it's Emily Henry, I think was her name. I read that book the other year. Wonderful book. It made me happy. It made me laugh. It made me do all kind of little, just felt good inside after reading it. Well, this year, and I can't say that because I already read that book, but another year. But a book that made me happy this year. Now I could say, Hookshot by Miss Kennedy Ryan, but again, I don't want to repeat a book that I've already, answered. And since I've already used Hookshot for another question, I don't want to use that same book. So in order for me then to answer this question, I would have to say it's Intensity by Dean Koontz. Now, wait a minute before you guys judge me. Yes, I know this book is about a serial killer and the stuff that he did in it was absolutely heinous. I get that. But the reason I'm going to say that this is a book that made me happy is because, for one, as you guys know, or as I've said many times before, I'm a horror novel fan. That horror is my first love. So I can appreciate a book that gives me everything that I'm looking for. And Intensity did just that. It gave me everything that I was expecting out of this type of book. The plot, the characters, the settings, all those things were on point. So for its respected genre, it did what it was supposed to do. So because it did what it was supposed to do, I appreciated that, and that made me happy, because there's nothing worse to me than getting a book and you're thinking, and I'm not talking about hyping up a book, but getting a book and you're thinking like, this is supposed to be a book of romance, and then there's absolutely no romance in the book. And you're like, wait a minute, I bought this book thinking this. So this book gave me everything that I was expecting and more. So that made me happy. Now, book number 12. Book number 12. Question number 12. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? So the books that I have that I want to read by the end of the year is Score by Miss Kennedy Ryan, Sundown Girls by L.S. Stratton, and Blood Slave by Marcus Redmond. So I was actually going to read Blood Slaves in March, but then I was informed that the sequel is supposed to be coming out sometime in August of this year, I believe. So I wanted to wait so that I could read them back to back. So that's the books that I want to finish this year. Well, tons of books, but that's at least 3 of them that I want to finish. That I want to read by the end of this year. So that's it, guys. Those are my 12 questions for the mid-year book tag. I hope that you guys have stuck around with me to the end of this video. If you have, please like, share, and subscribe. And know that I am thankful for each and every one of you guys. And I can't wait to talk with you later. Bye.